Well, this was a pretty lucky find. This is a 1985 Honda 200s, and it looks to be in pretty decent shape. But we actually got this machine for free. So I was buying another bike from a seller, and this was sitting right next to it. And I asked the seller, you know, what's going on with this thing? And he said, well, it hasn't ran in over a year. It quit running one day, and then he tried to pull it over a bunch, and he said the pull cord broke, and it just kind of was spiraling out of control. And he's like, I never really planned on fixing it. And I said, oh, what do you have to have for it? He said, just take it. And I was like, what? And he's like, well, I watch your channel. He's like, I'd rather watch you fix it up on video than him fixing it. So yeah, we ended up getting this thing for free, which was really, really nice of the guy. But yeah, this thing is in pretty decent shape. The tires are really nice on it. Lots of tread left. They hold air. It looks like it needs a good cleaning. Let's see if the brakes work. Seems like the brakes are working. Yep. Has some Mayer plastics on it. You know, seats ripped a little bit. Does have the rack on it, on the back, and the rack around the headlight. As you can see, the pull cord is broken, missing, and it looks like possibly the original carb. I'll have to take a look at that. But basically he said it stopped running, and then he tried to pull it over a bunch, and that pull cord broke, so that's kind of when he gave up on it. So you can see there's the year, 1985. You know, boots are all ripped. I noticed that the exhaust, the muffler was kind of rusted out right there. So a couple issues with it, but nothing too crazy, you know. Tank looks to be in really good shape. You can see the sticker 2025, so it probably was running a year ago. Yeah, no dents in the tank at all. That's kind of rare on a 200S. Usually these are pretty beat on. So today's goal is to get this one running and driving by the end of the video. And I know the seller is probably watching, so let's see if we can make it happen. Alright, little walk around. Pretty nice looking machine. Can't complain for free. Even has a little hitch on there. Alright, let's get this one in the garage and we'll start digging into it. Alright, so I didn't look at this machine at all when I was over there at the seller's house because obviously this machine's free. I'm not going to pick it apart. So, yeah, I haven't looked at anything. So let's check out the gas tank first. See if that's clean. Come on, be good. Oh. I don't think any rust in there at all. Look at that. Wow, is that clean in there? Alright, we're starting off pretty good here. Yeah, that's really clean. Gas cap looks good. Alright, so let's check out the oil next. Ooh, looks pretty black. Let's see if it's filled up all the way. Uh-oh. Not a whole lot of oil in there. Oh boy, I wonder if it's burning oil. Let's see, wiped out the dipstick again. Let's see. Ooh, just the very tip of it. So she's low on oil for sure. Take a look inside the air box. I'm surprised it has the original bolts here. Brand new air filter. Wow. Look at that. See if it's oiled up. Yep, feels oiled up. Well, we're off to a really good start. So let's put that cap back on. We'll check out the gas coming from the gas tank. Right up here is the petcock. Looks like that was on. Turn that off and take this hose off of here. There we go. Let's see if gas is coming out. Get your cup here. You can see it's filling up. Petcock's working. But we want to see the condition of the gas. Looks pretty clear so far. Coming out steady. Starting to slow down though. Okay. Let's see. Looks like new gas. Doesn't look like there's any water in it. Pretty darn clear. Yeah. Nothing wrong with the gas. So we can take that gas tank off. Gas tank coming off. Alright. Looks like it has the decompression mechanism hooked up. I wonder if that broke or something. That's why the pull stopped working. Yeah, it looks like it's hooked up correctly. We'll have to see on the inside. I know sometimes if that decompression mechanism isn't working, it can be really hard to pull over. And that's why that pull cord can break. Here is the coil. Yeah, that's the original key and carb. Cool. I was a little bit worried about that. Looks like this was leaking a little bit of something here. Maybe from the valve cover. But we've got the boot, NGK boot on there. The coil. We're going to quick check the coil connections. And then you've got what looks to be a new spark plug in there. And then up here is the engine run switch. I wonder if maybe there's something going on with that, because look, it's like all glued in place, which is really odd. I wonder if we're not getting spark. And then there's the off switch here as well. So did they bypass this one? I don't know. Take a look at the coil wires here. Sometimes if these are not connected correctly, you won't get spark. That looks good. Wires coming from the pickup coil look good. Alright, well, let's take out that plug. Let's see if we get spark. Well, it's not brand new. Looks like it was running decent at one point. What do we have? NGK DPR7EA. Yeah, it's pretty black looking, but not horrible. So it was running decent at one point. Let's quick take off this boot. Check the connection there. Ooh, not much wire exposed there. That was barely on there. That could have been the problem. A little too easy. There. Now we've got good wire exposed. Twist that back on. Alright. Let's zip this guy off. Really hoping nothing's broken in here. We can just put a new cord on. Kind of unlikely though. Let's see. Alright. doesn't look horrible. That's still working. So it looks like it's just missing the cord, hopefully. This all looks good. It turns over. There you go, it turns over pretty good. Alright, we can go ahead and get the decompression wire off of here so we can get the whole mechanism out. Alright, and that's held in right there. We can take that off. Just loosen that up. It can drop down. Perfect. Alright. Here's one more clamp holding that on. There we go. Alright, now we've got the whole decompression wire and the pull start mechanism out. Alright, we found a rope we can use. And the seller gave me the old pull rope that broke. So we're going to be using that. Alright, first thing we're going to do is take off this ring plate here, held on by these little screws here. Try not to strip them out. One fell down in there, we'll get that out. Alright. That one out of there. I believe this piece comes up out of here. Just like that. Gaskets on both sides. Alright, now there's this plastic ring going all the way around here. This is going to pry up. Take our little pick here and pry this up. You can see the cutout notch piece right here is lined up with that arrow spot. So it should come right out of here. You can see there's a spring holding that in too. Let's pull that out a little bit. There we go. So you can see the decompression mechanism. You can see the wire is right on there like that. So that goes onto that little groove right there. See how that latches onto there? And this ball, the wire comes back out over here. So that piece comes out. And that's all for the decompression mechanism. Then you can take the wire off. Alright. We're going to take out the little grommet piece here. Kind of push that out of here. That holds the wire in. Alright, now you're left with just a spring here. Now is that broken? I don't think so. That goes around that like that. Here's a spring. And then you've got your pull start. So with this one, there's going to be a little C-clip there we have to take out. Away. There we go. Alright, so we've got C-clip there. You've got your copper washer here. There we go. This plate comes off here. Alright, so good, nothing's broken. Underneath there, you've got your little springs. That one fell out. None of those are broken. guys come out. And then you get your spring. That's what that spring looks like. And then you've got another washer underneath here that comes out. Another copper washer. You can see the broken off rope down in there. So now we're going to take this out. This is where that recoil spring can hit you in the face pretty quick. Yeah, look at that rope. Just disintegrating in my hands here. We're gonna take that out. See, it's right down in there. Take our pliers and pull it out of there. Just like that. Pull that rope out. Alright. Now we're going to leave the spring in there. It's not broken. It still looks good. So if you take that out, then you have to rewind it. I don't really feel like doing that, so I'm going to leave that in. We're going to clean this up a bit. Alright, we're going to start off with tying the handle end first. Take our pick, get that little piece out of the handle. Pops out of there like that. Get the old rope out. Alright, new rope going in. I'm going to tie a knot here. Let's see. Pull that really, really tight so that it never comes off. Okay. That's an extremely tight knot. I'm going to pull it through the handle here. Just like that. Alright, we got the handle done. So now we're going to go through the hole here with our rope. And then we're going to go through the hole here as well. Take our pliers, pull that rope up through there, and then tie another knot. Pull that extremely tight so it doesn't come undone. You don't want your knot coming out. Shove that through. Alright, and then we're going to wind. So the way we're going to wind this is this way. We're going to leave about 1.5 feet left of the rope. I'm just going to drop that in. Now there's a little notch in here, and what we're doing is taking this and we're going to twist this around and tension that. Before we do that, let's put the washer on here. The spring on. The other washer and then the clip, just to hold that in when we're tensioning it. We don't want that coming off. There we go. Alright, now we can tension it. Just rotate this around a couple times. Pretty golden. feels pretty darn good. So now the tension is good, we are going to take the clip back off. That washer off. Okay. So now, these guys go on here like that. Little springs go on. Alright, then we've got the cover plate here. So there's little openings here, lining up with the dogs. Just like that. Got your washer. And then your clip. Alright, now when we test it, you'll be able to see the dogs poke out of here. See how they're expanding and coming out? That hooks onto the flywheel, and that's what rotates the engine. So if those aren't coming out, obviously you're not going to rotate the engine over. So those look good. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is install the spring for the decompression mechanism here. So there's a top and bottom for the spring. So the bottom is going to be the left side is going to face that way, and the right side is going to face this way. So you can see. So we're going to install it up like that. This goes around here. You're gonna have to pull these apart to get these to fit on, just like that. All right, next thing we're gonna do is put our piece like this back in. This goes through here, like that. Alright. Our spring. And this goes through here. And there's this little stopper plate. You go on top of there like that. Kind of holds that wire in place. Okay. Move our spring over here. This is kind of the tricky part. You want to make sure that that spring's not overlapping. Right there. Alright, gonna go right here. You have to line up the holes on that plate. So as you can see, it's a pretty complicated process. I can see why the seller didn't really want to do it. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But once you get it, you should have it for good. Yep. Okay, now take a look at the end of the decompression mechanism. Pull and release. Let's see. Yep, pulled. It should release there. See that? So it appears to be working. All right, I'll hook back up. Let's see if it works. Yep. And then release it. Oh yeah. Just for a brief second, it pulls it back. All right, looks like that's working. All right, let's see if we're getting anything for a spark. Here we go, see what happens. There's spark. There we go. Pretty good spark. Can you guys see that, hopefully? So really pretty decent spark there. All right, so this one has a decompression mechanism, so it might not give us the most accurate reading, but we'll just see what we get here. I might take a look down in the cylinder with my camera, see if there's any scratches or anything. But let's just take a peek, see what we get. All right, we can do throttle open and just pull this thing over, see what we get. Oh, that's a lot of compression. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Where are we at, like 145 PSI? That's with the decompression mechanism, so. Yeah, not too bad. So, I think we're good there. Compression checks out. Let's take a camera, take a peek down the cylinder here. All right, let's take a little peek down here. See what it looks like. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Not a ton of carbon on there. Piston looks good. I don't see any scratches on the cylinder at all. Yeah, mostly good, and compression's high, so yeah, that definitely checks out. So we have good compression, decent spark. Let's go ahead and take off that carb and see if there's something going on with that. I'm guessing the pilot's probably plugged up. All right, the carb's kind of tucked back there. See if we can get to it. So right through here. There we go. There we go. What's on there? Get the first nut off. And the second nut coming off. There's a clamp in there as well. We're going to take that off so we can reach down in there. So right here there's a couple bolts. Take those out. See, that box just falls away. We should be able to get that carb out. No problem. There we go. Alright, it's coming out through the side. Carb here. Try to get this slide out. There we go. Alright. Let's go ahead and open that up and see what's going on. The slide looks good. Alright. Let's see what's going on in the carb here. Guessing there's a couple jets that are clogged. Check it out. See all the gas pouring out. Lots of gas in the carb. Well, it looks pretty clean. There's a little bit of gunk down in there, way at the bottom. You can see down here, a little bit of rust forming. Big chunks. So that is no good. Oh, see if that's in good shape. Pin came out easy. Here's the needle. Looking perfect. Alright, let's get these jets out. Let's see what we're running. Alright, looks like 100. And the main jet, is that clogged? Nope. Thought that was clogged for a sec. That looks good. Go ahead and get the pilot out. Guessing this is clogged for sure. We're running a 35 pilot. Oh yeah. She's clogged pretty good. So pilot's clogged. We assume that would be. And then we've got our fuel screw here. So we are 1, 2, exactly 2 turns out. Little spring. I think there's a little O-ring down there as well. Try to get that guy out. O-ring and a washer. There's a little washer. So we can get that little O-ring out. Sometimes those can be broken. Oh, that was intact. So, carb looks really good. Let's see if the choke is working. Yep, choke is working. Cool. Well, that was pretty easy. We're gonna let this sit in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little bit, get rid of all that rust. Put that in. Alright. Alright, carb is all cleaned out, looking good, all the jets blown through. So we can get this back together, back on the machine. Alright, carb is back on. Let's go ahead and check the valves next before the first start attempt here. So there's a little cap here to take off. This cap allows us to get to the top dead center mark on the flywheel. Oh man, that's on there. Oh, I don't know if that's coming off. Holy. I have to tap on that with a hammer. Try to budget free here. There we go. Sometimes just to start it. Alright. Now we're going to rotate that over until we see the top dead center mark here. Sometimes it's hard to get to. Right in there you can see the T. So we are at top dead center. We're going to come over here and open our valve caps up. Our exhaust valve is a little easier than the intake. Coming off. It's pretty loose on there. Let's see if we can get it to budge here. Can't even get that wrench in there. There. It moved. There, it's coming now. Right up to the frame there. You can see. Oh yeah. All right, so the intake has clearance. Let's see about the exhaust. Should hear a little click. Yep. So there's clearance on both the intake and the exhaust. All right, both the intake and exhaust should be about 2/1000 of an inch. See if our feeler gauge fits in there. Oh yeah, that fits in. That feels good. Perfect. And the intake. It's really hard to get in here. Oh yeah. All right, both intake and exhaust clearances are good. Coming down to the left-hand side, the oil cap is right there. So let's get that out. There's going to be a spring in there and probably a filter. Shot out of there. There's the filter. So you've got your spring, your filter, and your cap. So that goes on there. The oil coming out is really black. I'll show you guys here in a second. All right, you can see the oil is really black, but there's no chunks floating around at all, so our transmission should be fine. All right, oil capacity for a 1985 Honda ATC200s is going to be 1.43 quarts. Let's get that going. We're going to be using 10W40 wet clutch oil. So this whole quart can go in. Oh, good right there. All right, let's see what it reads on the dipstick here. As you can see, perfectly all the way up. You can see the oil is right there. So we are perfect. Go. Get your tank back on here. All right, gas is flowing good. Let's go ahead and get the seat back on. Well, I think we're ready for the first start attempt. So we have fresh oil in it. The fuel looked good in the gas tank. We've got good spark. Compression is like almost 150. Carb is all cleaned out, good to go. Valves are adjusted to spec, so there's no reason this thing shouldn't fire up. So let's see what happens. Give it a couple pulls. Choke it. Go. Oh yeah, she fired right up. I was getting a little worried there. With the choke on, it wasn't firing. I turned the choke off and it fired. So, I don't know, weird. You can hear the pipe really loud. It just kind of rusted out. Idling good and everything. Headlights working. Revs out good. And that's choke off. Cool. That wasn't so bad. So I'm not sure why this thing stopped running in the first place. I think maybe it was just the pull start broke. Huh. Yeah, fired right up. Weird. Alright, what we're going to do is rev this up a couple times, turn it off, and see if it starts right back up. Pull start's working great. Started first pull. And check this out, no smoke. So maybe it wasn't burning off all that oil in the engine. Maybe it's just low. Maybe there's a leak. Yeah, that sounds pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with that. So the real question is it going to shift and go through the gears? We will find out here pretty soon. Can't believe it's not smoking. Well, I would say that's pretty much running perfectly. Not a single issue. No oil leaking, no gas leaking, revs out completely, no bogging. Brakes all work, light works. I mean, this is a great find for free. So we got really lucky with this one. I thought for sure there'd be something majorly wrong with it, like it losing spark or low compression, because the seller said wouldn't start and he just kept on pulling it over. So I don't know if it was something to do with the pull start and the decompression mechanism. Maybe it wasn't allowing it to start because it had too much compression and it wasn't turning over fast enough on startup. Or maybe there's something in the pilot clogged in the jet. I don't know. But that was a very, very easy fix. Not too bad. The hardest part was probably replacing the pull cord. Basically all we did was a carb clean and oil change, and she fired right up. So this one is completely done, and I think that's as far as I'm going to take it. We might look for an exhaust for it because that's pretty rough, you can see. Other than that, I mean, it's not too bad. Maybe a seat cover, an exhaust, but everything else is pretty solid on this thing. So this one is all fixed up. Another one fixed. So what we're going to do is work on the scooter we started from last video and try to finish this up. The pump came in the mail right here. Well, if you guys remember last video on this machine, this is a 2007 Yamaha C3 we picked up from the auction for, I think it was $600 or $700. So pretty good deal. We sell for $1,500 to $2,000 depending on condition. And this one's in pretty decent condition. We tried to attempt to get this thing to run last video, and we found out that the fuel pump wasn't turning on. So we actually tore apart the fuel pump and found that it was locked up with rust. So we actually got it free, and it was pumping, but it wasn't enough to rev out the machine. Really, really low on pressure. So the fuel coming out of the fuel injector, which is right here, was just a really, really fine mist. It wasn't enough to keep this running at high speeds. So what I think was happening was the pump was just weak. I don't think it's pumping the correct amount of fuel to the fuel injector. So we ordered up a brand new pump, the whole thing, off of Amazon. I think it was like $60. So here that is. We're gonna take a look at that. So it comes with the filter, everything for it. I think that's broken off. Huh, that wouldn't be good. That better not be broken off. But that's how it came. And here's the piece, I'm guessing for that. I don't know why that wasn't in there before. But we're going to install this today and see if that fixes our problem. So I'm gonna put this all together. We'll take out the old pump. We're gonna replace it with a new one and just see what happens. So it looks like this little piece came broken off here, so it doesn't latch on. So what I did was just melt the plastic here on these two tabs so that that plate stayed on. So now it's staying on and this is moving up and down good. It came broken like that, unfortunately. All right, this connector coming off here. This one coming off. All right, just got that line off. All right, let's zip those off, take out that pump. I was reading online that the gasket underneath here can go bad, that seal. So maybe that's what happened too. Let's see. All right, let's compare that. See if it's the same as the other pump we've got. All right, looking at the two side by side, the little float here is different, I notice. And then this one's got wire right in here connecting the float. This one does not have a wire. All right, black and white wire, black and white wire. Flipping this thing around, making sure that our outlet is the same. That looks good. All right, let's flip this all the way around and we're gonna see if the wiring is all the same back here. So blue, we've got blue, white, black, and gray. So everything is the same there. In there, it's a lot bigger. Oh yeah, she'll fit. I think. There we go. That lines up with that. Alright, let's see before we hook up the hose there. We'll see if gas pumps out of here. Negative. Turn this on. Whoa. Whoa, that's a lot better. That's pumping like crazy. Look at that stream. Holy, before it was barely going. That is really good. I think there's an O-ring right there too. Let's see. Alright. That might have been the problem. Here we go, moment of truth. Will the new pump work? Go. Well, that's a good sign. Fired right up. Let's see if it revs out. Well, looks like it was the pump the whole time. Huh. Revving out good. Alright, let's see if anything's living in the air filter here. Let's see. Come off here. There we go. Oh, that looks nice and clean in there. Good. This can go back on here. See how'd this go. Alright, squeaker is all back together, looking good. Let's see if the key works here with the seat. Had to get the seat mechanism back in as well. Let's see here. Yep, perfect. Alright, let's get the new battery installed next. Alright, brand new battery going in. See if it fits. Perfect fit. Alright, new battery installed. Alright, we got this thing all back together, all shined up, looking perfect. Let's see if she still starts up. Headlights working. Well, looks like the fuel pump fixed their problem. So this thing is running great. No issues whatsoever, has good acceleration, good power, both brakes work, all the lights work, blinkers work, gauge works. I think we got this thing up to about 40 miles an hour. So I think top speed's right around there. And yeah, really, really good power for a little 49cc machine. And it looks really, really nice. So, very, very clean machine. Starts right up instantly. And it only has 1,482 miles. So, yeah, we just got a really good deal on this thing. So, we bought it at the auction for $700. I think we've got 60 bucks in the pump. So we're in it for about 760 bucks. Not too bad for a running, driving Yamaha C3 with low mileage. So pretty darn good deal. You know, this thing last ran in 2014, so it's been a while. So today was a pretty good day. We got the Yamaha fixed up and the Honda fixed up. The three-wheeler and the scooter. So 2 in 1 day. Not too bad. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Picking up the little three-wheeler for free and then fixing up the Yamaha C3 today. Today we were pretty successful with the pair and we were able to save these machines. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.